It's my pleasure to have Ben to take this interview. He's one of the volunteers during We Launch. My first impression of him is caring, outgoing, and cheerful. I'll let him to start with a self-introduction.
So my name is Ben. I've been with Apple for the last almost 12 years. I started in retail and moved my way up through corporate. Basically, I'm a supply chain manager now. I work on the supply for all the audio components. And my goal, the reason why I'm going to Haas is because I want to go a little bit further into sustainable operations and like sustainable supply chain. So that's kind of like the reason why I wanted to come to Haas. I'm a pretty social person. I'm very active. I like to, rock climb and work out a lot. So that's kind of who I am. Oh, and travel. I love traveling. I play a lot of Overwatch, and mostly Overwatch actually.
I used to play GTA 5, but I don't have time to play games now. How many hours you spend on gaming a week on average?
Every week? I don't know. I usually average like at least 1 or 2 hours a day. Usually like 1 or 2 a day.
Oh, this is a lot. I'm jealous.
It's like really deep stress, so it's I like spend a lot of time. Not a lot of time. I like dedicate some time to it. I either like watch TV or I play some video games.
Since you have been with Apple for so long, could you share a little more about the story between you and Apple? Seems like you have a very successful life that would make many people jealous.
Now I'm in a really amazing place. But to get to where I was like extremely difficult. Like, because I told you I started in Apple retail, and so I was working in retail full time, and I was going to school full time doing my undergrad. And like I was just like working really hard and getting, trying to do really well because I wanted to go from retail to corporate, right? Like that was always my goal. But I realized after I graduated, like even with like really good grades, like Apple corporate, they don't really give a shit about retail, or at least they didn't back when I was there. So it was really, really hard to get into corporate. Like it took a year from when I graduated to getting to corporate. So it was really, really challenging. I almost left Apple because I wasn't finding a good job. But and then even within Apple, like it hasn't always been easy. Like I've had to fight for a lot of. I basically had to fight to get to where I am now. Yeah, you kind of have to be at the right place at the right time, and I generally had to kind of just fight. It never really came.
It sounds like you have a lot of experiences with business. I don't have a business background. What advice would you give it to me for school? Or could you explain how hard school is?
Yeah, it's just like I think you'll notice soon enough that it's not as, I would say it's just definitely not as challenging. It could just be time consuming, right? Like especially on the weekdays, it's Monday, Wednesday, 6 to 9:30. So those nights are gone, and then for weekends, it's like you spend the entire Saturday in class, and then after class you're just tired. So it's like it's really it's just more time consuming and energy draining than difficult. But I guess the energy drain can make things difficult too. So it's like it's like objectively not hard, but it could kind of wear on you over time if you don't take care of yourself. Honestly, for the most part, yeah. I mean, depending on the course, and it also depends on your background, right? So I do have a business background. One of my jobs was like finance and accounting, and now my role is like supply chain manager. So I do a lot of operations. So like I understand these concepts enough where I generally can just like show up to class and listen to what they're saying, follow along with the slides, and like I'll be fine. Like I generally don't have to do too much outside of school work unless it's like a project, or sometimes it's like, sometimes the homework assignments can be long. They're not necessarily super difficult for the most part, but they're kind of long. But the thing is, like, you also have your classmates, like you can rely on each other. Like if you have a good study team, it makes a huge difference. Like my study team was like amazing. Like we're always aligned on like assignments. Like if someone had to like take care of some like personal issue or whatever, like everybody was okay with it, and people would step in and help, like, so you have each other to rely on, and that's kind of how it is in the real world, right? Like usually when you have you're usually working in teams, in groups, in a work environment, right? So it's like you're not trying to always figure something out on your own, and so you rely on each other, and that's how you kind of get things done.
Out of school, you also traveled to many countries. Would you like to share some of your experiences? I hope you could share something fun with us.
I've been to like Fiji. I went to Fiji like 3-4 years ago, and that was really nice. It was really amazing. But when I got back home, I got really sick. Like I almost died from like a sickness. I think I drank. I did a ceremony. Like so, Fiji. There's like a really big disparity between the rich and the poor. And the poor, like there's like a lot of tribes. And I did this activity where we went to a tribe and we did a kava ceremony. So kava is like basically a root that kind of, if I were to describe, it's a drink, right? It's a drink, and the effect is kind of similar to like a combination of alcohol and weed, like marijuana. So it's like a combination of that. And so a bunch of us, like our group, we did this ceremony. And my dumbass, like I didn't even realize it at the time, but it's like they were basically pouring water from like the river, or like getting the water from the river. So like they mix the kava with water that's like not filtered, and and so
natural
like,
water.
Yeah, and it's not clean, or like I mean it's as clean as like river water can get, but it's also like there's a lot of bacteria and all sorts of things, and I think that's what got me sick, because like I had like the craziest food poisoning, and then after the food poisoning I was like throwing up, like I couldn't drink water, and the food poisoning went away, and then after that, like a day later, like I got a sore throat, like a really bad sore throat, and that lasted like a week. And then towards the end of the sore throat, I just got like really sick, like even worse than like pretty much as bad as COVID, like it felt like I had COVID, like a really bad case of COVID. And I felt like I almost died, but that's a fun story. But anyways, I'm going off topic. Fiji was really amazing. I highly recommend it. Just don't drink the river water.
Thank you so much for your time, Ben. You're elevated now, not just a name or face that I met during WeLaunch. This conversation definitely helped us new Haasis to know more about the school and about you. Ben is really giving a great presidency of the interviews. For those who are listening, I hope more of you could join in and share your experiences as well.